Guys, I wore my red t-shirt this week
Ooh.
as a foreshadowing of the delightful results we have all gotten so far.
Mm,
Not looking great for anybody. With that said, not so far in the red that we can't save it.
that's true.
I noticed, at least for me, a lot of it was I saw Bitcoin go up to like 52 and I got really excited. Thought it finally broke through. Not to be. But I feel like there's a lot of other widespread stuff going on right now. Everybody's freaking out that the market's going to crash again. Everybody's worried about continued issues with inflation. Obviously, been a big problem this year. What has hit you the hardest? I guess in the last week or two.
Oh boy.
Everything is an acceptable answer if it's truthful, but I feel like there has to
I
be something that's been worse than everything
actually
else.
have a bit of like a candy cane going on. It's like alternating.
Okay, all right.
But I guess the two worst being Bitcoin and Ethereum at
Mm,
4.2 ish, and then but Bitcoin's 4.4. Uh, but then yeah, those are the only two that are like, oh, okay, Honeywell's down 3.58, but everything else is like not bad.
okay.
So yeah,
And is that just for the month or is that all time?
that's just for the month. All
Okay.
time, I'm actually positive on Bitcoin now, but still down in the dumps with Ethereum, -23, which is not terrible, honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
I
weren't
mean,
you
you're
at like
talking to
minus
somebody who's
50 at one
still.
point? Yeah,
I believe with Ethereum, I was down at like -98 at one point.
yeah, like so. Yeah,
Yours got hit really
I'll take
hard.
that. I'll take that.
It
Yeah.
did. Okay. So some
uh,
crypto volatility for everybody. Kyle, is there anything else?
um, Boeing and Shopify not having a great month, but not having an awful month either.
Okay.
So kind of both of those are. I mean, they're red, but they're about half the amount that Bitcoin is. So that's still the majority of I guess, the losses so far in the month. But I mean, like those are like like losses too compared to the price at the start of the month. So it's just like Bitcoin has gone down 4% this month, but like on the investment all time, I'm still
Yeah.
plus 33%. So not
Yeah.
bad run.
I'm plus 33 all time, but this month I'm down almost 4.5. So similar spot. Can we just take a moment though and appreciate that for once, for the month, Tesla is in the green.
Ooh,
Yes,
wow.
A round of
positive.
applause to Elon Musk. I'm sure he's been tweeting as much as always, but for once, just for
We have to
once,
see if it finishes.
there
I
have
think there
not
have
been
been
negative consequences
there have been
yet.
weeks before where we've met and it's been green like in the month so far, but I'm not sure if it's finished a month green. If that makes sense.
I
So
agree
we'll
with you.
see. We'll see in like 2 weeks, I guess, how that shapes up.
Yeah, I mean, it's at a point now. I'm tempted to just take my losses at 8.75% and just move on, dude. I'm not gonna lie. It's been as low as like -30. So
Yeah, this is very true. Or
comparatively, that's pretty damn good.
yeah, all time. Yeah, down 8.6% on Tesla. Not great, but coulda.
It beats the -33 and a third that I'm down on Canadian solar. So
Yeah, we
Ooh.
were joking about some pretty low numbers a while ago, but I guess to be said, since Tesla's making it all back up, could it just be another Tesla boom? You might miss out, man. FOMO.
sure, okay, we'll go with that.
Well, remember when at the start of the year we were talking about that lady? She was like, Tesla's gonna be worth like what was it, like 16 times?
Oh, Kathy Wood, yes.
Yeah, like it was like
Kathy Wood and the folks at ARK were like, Tesla is going to be worth like $1,600 a share.
hmm So like I mean,
Well, and remember the worst case scenario still had it pegged at what's it at now? Yeah, I mean,
it's like 700, 750, if 742.
I feel like it's pushing on the lower bound of the best case, worst case type of scenario, but I don't remember the exact number at the moment. But not great, but perhaps we've caught a little bit of positive momentum. Speaking of not great, though, I want to start tonight. We have a myriad of very interesting topics to get into that are kind of all over the map, but you'll see
Nice.
some common themes. First, though, we've got to talk big tech because we had a couple of things this week that are very, very noteworthy. The first of which is regrettably another foray into the smart glasses arena, as Facebook and Ray-Ban have announced that they are producing new smart glasses that will allow you to take pictures in short videos from little cameras mounted up next to the lenses.
Interesting.
Now, a pair of these is going to cost you $300. All of us on this call are old enough to remember the Google Glass
Mhm.
and the Snapchat. What were they? Snapchat spectacles? Snapchat goggles? I don't remember what they were
Yeah.
called. The big yellow ones.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, those two were commercial failures in the truest sense of the word. Sales were absolutely horrific. Like, unless you are some type of engineer that needs to, like, 3D model a building in your eyeballs, there is very little commercial use for these. So, I want you to give me your best guess as to why Facebook thinks that these glasses are a good idea. Because I don't see it.
I don't know,
is there
man.
even anything conceivable that you can think of? Or are we just uniformly, this is a dumb idea, next topic, please?
As a, I can't remember what the word is. Like something that's just like a toy, in the short amount of time. Like so AR, like in Snapchat and stuff, and like
Yep.
even Instagram, like live or whatever. Like there's honestly been like a big boom in the AR like filter thing. So like I guess as a novelty, that's the word, yeah. So as a novelty, I could see that kind of being
A
a big boom.
$300 novelty, though?
Man, I don't know, man. Like the Elon Musk, like the flame gun, that's kind of an expensive novelty too.
I would much rather have a flamethrower, though,
That's
than a
true.
pair of video glasses.
Yeah, okay, that's kind of true.
Even though those are illegal in a lot of states.
Says this first version's actually going to lack augmented reality, though. They're building.
Okay,
they're
never mind.
building. They're
Yeah, I
building
mean,
the tech
long
towards it.
term, I'll give him credit because I think that's where they're going with this.
Mm.
But yes,
No, yeah,
the first version leaves quite a bit to be decided.
We are building towards AR glasses as the next computing platform. The product director at Facebook, Manisha Prakash. So, like, yeah, that is what they want. But
Yeah.
right now, the first one's gonna lack. If I'm being cynical, honestly, the only benefit I see of these glasses to Facebook is another way for them to collect photos and data about people.
Yeah,
I mean, that was like the whole pushback against the first two versions, right? It's like people who don't have them are uncomfortable with the idea of you having glasses that can take pictures. So, like, the solution to that is either you have to make it super obvious
Which these do not.
which like the camera, yeah, and like when it becomes super obvious, no one wants to wear them. Not because they're a creep, I'm saying necessarily, but because it just looks ugly. Right, when you have
Yeah.
like a big camera light like on your
Yeah.
face or whatever, like let's just be real, like, you know, like even if I'm not a creep, I don't know what use I have for the glasses, but like
Well, I saw a list
I
of.
do want them to look good still if I'm gonna bother to buy them.
I will say the glasses aesthetically do look very nice. They are Ray-Bans after all.
Well, they are Ray-Bans, and I guess they said that they can answer calls and stuff, so this is getting closer to like a phone or like a smart like
Yes.
watch kind of thing. So like, I mean, I see, like, you know, like eventually maybe like, oh, I could read my messages in front of my eyes, I could take calls, like maybe I don't like watches but I wear glasses, so like whatever. But I don't think, like, yeah, like this first version doesn't seem to be even close to that, you know.
So let me.
I think it's going to run into a lot of the same problems.
I think the novelty of like a heads-up display is cool for sure. I have a list though of all of the data that is being tracked in the first version of the glasses dedicated app. Are you ready?
Sure.
All right.
Health and fitness,
Okay,
financial
yeah.
information, contacts, user content,
Okay.
browser
Okay.
history, data usage, purchases, location, contacts, search history, personal identifiers, and, quote, other sensitive information.
Wow.
I mean, you could
They want
justify,
everything.
yeah, I mean, you could justify some of those. Like, okay.
Like, contacts,
That's greedy.
location, some of that stuff, sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely. User
even
content.
content, I
Totally.
could see. Yeah, because like, okay, you want me to answer your
Yeah.
messages or read your calls and stuff, but like, why finances? Why
Mm-hmm.
payments? I guess they're like you can make payments using your glasses. I don't fucking know, but yeah,
Imagine
see,
walking
like,
into like a convenience store and like putting your eyeball down next to the quick pay thing because that's how you pay for something. Like
Nice.
you would look like such a jackass.
That is on that's kind of greedy in terms of like data hoarding.
yeah, I mean, like I said, like I feel like the biggest positive for Facebook is this is just another outlet to collect data
Yep.
from you.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future, like I don't know, like
It's a
you said,
mining tool.
like a heads up
Yeah.
display is a big market. Like I could see that being a thing in the future, like being a big field that people compete in, and like
Mhm.
okay, yeah, you're getting a head start on that. But for right now, it seems like the primary use is yeah, you're collecting a lot of my data so I can take some pictures with my
Mm-hmm.
glasses.
How publicly available is this list of like data gathered?
Well, it came from a tweet from a journalist for, is it BuzzFeed or it was a large nationally known publication.
Okay. So I guess it is fairly publicly available, but if you're not looking for it, then it's probably not like in your face, right?
Mm.
No, I mean you have to download the app though. So if you pay attention to the apps that you download,
Okay, true.
you should
Clicking
know.
for permissions
Yeah,
and
because like
stuff.
it'll ask you for your permission. Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
Android and Apple both have pretty good fine grained permissions control.
Yeah.
I feel like now, so
I mean they have to.
usually, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I guess I don't know. If I saw all those things being like toggled on or like
Requested, yeah.
requesting those permissions, I'd be like, yeah, no, 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 maybe, no, no, no. But I mean, I guess at that price point where you said 300 or
$300 even.
that's not that much more than actual Ray Bans. It's
Yeah.
100 more.
See
100.
that was my question. I don't know how much a normal pair of Ray-Bans is because I'm the type of person who buys like $20 sunglasses and just hopes that they last like 6 weeks.
I think
I
they're
use them in the summertime and then I will lose them until next year and then have to buy a new pair.
yeah, I think they're around 170, 190 in that range. I'm pretty sure, right? Depends on the model.
Yeah, like $100 to $200 or something
Yeah.
like that.
So for a modest fee, the next up-and-coming generation of TikTok stars could get these glasses instead.
What is the quality on these though? Right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, so I have a phone and AirPods or
And
whatever
lifespan.
already.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
I don't
like-
know what the video quality or anything is. I haven't
yeah,
done
like-
that yet.
What kind of camera is in these frames? Like, is it
Oh,
actually
man.
worth using it compared to like taking my? I mean, yeah, taking my phone out is extra work.
Dude, for the
But
Wayfarers,
like, if the quality is way better, like, cause like they're glasses, right? Like the camera you put in the, I mean,
I'm
smartphone
assuming
cameras
it's
are tiny
similar
now,
to like
too,
a
so-
smartphone camera. The size
Yeah.
looks fairly similar.
yeah, they stick like right here. It looks like, or whatever.
Yeah,
But,
right up where like the arms would attach to the
Yeah.
actual like rims of the glasses.
oh, is there actually a picture of it?
Yeah, I just googled like Facebook smart glass.
The
It's like-
Verge has a handful of pictures on them.
Yeah, there's this article this in the Seattle Times that I'm looking at too that has some pictures of them.
Oh, so they actually did use like a Wayfarer. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just
It's like
those
their
are
standard
exactly
frames.
what I was expecting.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
their
Like-
standard frames with like some bumps added to
Yeah,
them.
like rather than having the oval like silver piece or shiny piece there, it's just the camera.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
The
found
Go
dual 5 megapixel cameras.
Okay, I guess at what resolution is maybe a question, but
I don't know if that's.
I'm
available
trying to
yet.
find it.
yeah. Because I wouldn't want a 5 megapixel at a super
Oh.
high
Okay, here we
resolution.
go. Cameras in the glasses are nowhere near as high quality as the cameras on modern smartphones.
Oh.
Yeah.
Instead,
It-
these are meant to be used in moments when your hands are occupied, or you want to capture something fleeting.
Okay. They do have a light on them, a flashing LED light on the front. So
Yeah,
people
it's how
go
you
there
know
for
your
the
privacy is
order.
being violated by a stranger
Nice.
with these glasses.
I wonder. Like, I mean, obviously, well, I guess they could use the two because there's two cameras on it, right?
Yep.
Hmm.
So I guess they could use that for stereo imaging for like depth. But then
Oh, yeah.
I don't know
If it's not as
if
good as your phone, though, like, I'm sorry, this is a very narrow niche for a $300 thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Like, I would
wonder if
much
they're
rather
gonna
have
do-
the flamethrower.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I'm just gonna be real. I don't even know if they're
Ooh.
legal in the state of Washington. I would much rather have a Boring Company flamethrower than a pair of these glasses.
You'll like this, Jordan. In interviews, Facebook and Ray-Ban indicate it's a possibility that companies could eventually work together on AR versions of other glasses, including other additional Ray-Ban styles and offerings from other Luxottica brands. Isn't that one of the things you're invested in?
Ooh.
Nice.
I mean, if
Luxottica-
LVMH is gonna license them like Gucci frames or Louis Vuitton frames or something like that, maybe. But
Oh no, Luxottica owns Oakley, Chanel, Prada, Burberry, and other name brand.
Oh.
No, other name brand.
yeah, no,
glasses.
not them.
So it's a competitor.
Here's my thing though,
ultimately.
in this. Ultimately, my reason for being hesitant about these glasses is our second topic of conversation for tonight. You can file this into the category of no shit Sherlock, which is admittedly my theme for the evening. Facebook reportedly provided inaccurate data to misinformation researchers.
Cool.
So, knowingly or not, which of course you're never going to find out, you have people that work for you, and their whole job is to make sure that you are transparent about how the platform is being used and about what is being spread that is truthful and what is not. And yet, you are, again, knowingly or not, I'm not sure, providing inaccurate, incomplete, and missing sets of data to public institutions who are trying to study what you are doing. You have also banned people from universities in the past from using certain plugins that helped them highlight problems with your platform. So if we already have transparency problems and you already don't know that they're happening, or maybe you do and you just don't care, in either scenario, given the track record of this company, how am I supposed to trust that these $300 glasses are not just going to exponentially compound pre-existing problems that are already extremely large? How am I supposed to trust that?
Hey, dude, you just gotta take our word for it, man.
I mean, I guess it also depends on how important, like, are these glasses going to be a big push by Facebook, or is this just like something they're kind of doing right now? Like, I don't know that either. Like, how much money have they invested into this?
Great question. No idea.
Like, it could just be a thing. Just like, they're like, hey, like maybe some people will buy these. Maybe it's just to get R&D started. I don't know. Could be something that they poured hundreds of millions to billions of dollars into already.
Yeah.
No
I would
idea.
sincerely hope not.
You would hope not.
Otherwise, I want them to hire me and pay me a bunch of money to R&D a bunch of silly products, because I could make something way cooler than these glasses with as little or less commercial value.
I'm actually kind of curious how, because Facebook owns Oculus, right?
They do.
Oculus does have camera. I don't know, like maybe they have some like overlap between the company.
You can
like,
see the puzzle
things.
pieces and how they fit, right? I mean, that's...
Yeah, I mean,
we lampoon the first iteration, but the first iteration is never intended to be final or perfect.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe just, I don't know, at least in terms of the cameras, external cameras, it's like some of the technology goes. So maybe they don't have to invest that much money into this project, but still.
that's true. Like,
I
it
don't
still
know.
exists. But I mean, I guess for Jordan's question, does the fact that this pair of glasses exists at all indicate that there are problems or that Facebook might prioritize?
Yeah.
Certain business practices potentially. Like I said, I don't really see a lot of benefit to Facebook for making these beyond capturing more data.
Exactly,
So,
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they know how they make their money. And so, hey, if we can give people a new, novel way to give us more of their information, then let's do that.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, that's what this boils down to. and they're just trying to put it in an appealing enough package that people will not care.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, admittedly, the timing of this is very smart, right? YouTube Shorts are a big thing. TikTok is a big thing. Influencer culture in general is a big thing. Like,
there's also a ton of like POV type,
yes.
like
Yeah, I think if the quality was good, like this would be really good for like
Yeah.
IRL live streamers that just walk around.
exactly.
If the quality on these was higher, but it's not, because like then you could interact and hear and talk with your
Yeah.
stream or whatever through your glasses, and you have your hands free to do whatever you want.
I saw a POV the other day. It was a drone flying over like a volcano in Iceland,
Oh,
and like a magma bubble exploded, and it
Ooh.
like melted the drone out of the air.
oh, okay. That's not exactly what I was imagining, but that's also pretty cool.
I mean, the footage was incredible. I feel bad for the guy because those things are expensive, but
Yeah.
to be fair, licensing the footage for all of these novelty news stories probably bought him like 6 new ones, but
That is true.
anyway, okay, so it sounds like we're all on the same page. The market timing of these glasses is smart, but we are very, very hesitant about this being kind of a wolf in sheep's clothing type of a thing.
Exactly.
Because that's what Facebook does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have 2 more big tech news stories tonight. I didn't want to pick on one more than the other. So obviously we have to talk about Apple and Epic, because we did get a ruling.
We got like a partial ruling.
Yes,
right?
we got like a partial ruling. Epic likes part of it, Apple likes part of it, and Epic has already
Yeah.
filed an appeal because they want to go after the part of the verdict that they did not get.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, I know that the both of you are a lot more in touch with online gaming and the culture of some of this more so than me. So, I just want your raw feedback. Like, what do you think? How are you feeling, I guess, with where this is at right now?
I mean, I think it's good. Basically, the ruling so far is like Apple cannot kick off apps off
Right.
the App Store because that they have their own in-store purchases, which is, I mean, like, I think that's good because I don't think like the marketplace should be able to kind of,
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty severe
regulate it.
term.
Yeah, like I feel like that's
Yeah.
a pretty severe regulation.
Mhm.
I'm not super thrilled about the fact that that just means that other companies now know it's okay for me to have an app on the App Store that has microtransactions. I think the fight Epic is making still is that like Apple still doesn't like or takes the percentage, or like I don't know, like I don't remember if you can't like buy it like through the App Store still. Like you have I don't there's like Epic wants to fight with them about that or whatever. Like I'm not thrilled about the fact that this just means that apps can have microtransactions on any platform, but like developers have picked, like developers need to get paid in some way. The business guys have figured out this is the platform, or this is the strategy that makes us the most money.
Yeah.
So,
So what I read in a nutshell was basically that Apple now has to allow links to third-party purchasing systems,
yeah.
but it does not have to allow third-party app store stores like fair competition for in-app
Yeah.
purchasing. So it sounds like you could go through Epic directly in their own thing to buy something, but it sounds like they have the ability to make it very difficult and very inconvenient for you to do so, when you could just use Apple Pay or whatever's already integrated, and then they would get a cut of that.
Yeah.
Right.
So it sounds like both sides are planning to appeal. So not going to end anytime soon. Nonetheless, though, very, very interesting. I do think this will shape up to be one of the larger court verdicts, at least regarding big tech, probably until we get into the looming conversations about antitrust. Very interesting to watch. Kyle, did you have any other, I guess, hot takes or feedback from the proceedings so far?
No, not really. I mean, I think, it's just like, I mean, I think allowing the opportunity is good. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see how feasible it is really to implement.
Going to be interesting. I personally do not really buy things in apps unless it's like I think I bought a premium version of a camera app that I use for work, but like that's the extent of me making purchases in an app store environment. Like that and digital copies of books. So I'm hardly the poster child for microtransactions and are they good or are they bad or how should they
Yeah.
work. But I guess we'll see. Rounding out our no shit Sherlock of big tech, though, I'm glad that you both are sitting down because this is probably really going to shock you too.
Ooh, nice.
Google has illegally underpaid temporary staff in at least 16 countries.
Wow.
Now, at face value, that is bad enough.
Right.
What makes it worse is that they have gotten a hold of internal emails that make it very, very clear that they, before this, figured out that it had happened and were trying to figure out a way to retroactively compensate these employees without them figuring out that they had been underpaid. So, this guy wrote in an email that adjusting the rates for all of the temps was a correct move from a compliance perspective. However, doing so might increase the likelihood that current temporary staff members could connect the dots about the reason behind the pay bump and place the staffing agencies who supply and pay the workers in a difficult legal and ethical position. The cost is significant and it would give rise to a flurry of noise and frustration. I'm not keen to invite the charge that we've allowed the situation to persist for so long that the correction required is significant. So basically, we have made a very large accounting error, and we're really, really trying hard not to get caught.
Yeah, it's like a weird kind of. They're trying to technically like give it back, but they're trying to figure out the way to give it back in a way that no one is going to notice it was missing in the first place.
Yeah.
You're trying to do the right thing in a way that makes sure that you don't have any consequences.
Yeah. I'm really curious if you just told the employees we made a mistake and gave them all the money in a lump sum. Like, I mean, he says that they would be mad at, and I'm certain I'd be mad if I found out for like 6 months I've been working and receiving like 80% of my pay or whatever. Like, I would be upset. But if you gave me the 20% as you were apologizing, I'd be a lot less upset. Like, and it's not like Google can't afford to do that. Like, in fact, they can't afford to pay them back. They're trying to pay them back slowly because they don't want to get caught, not because they can't afford to pay them back quickly. So it's kind of like, I'm kind of curious as to why you wouldn't just, or like if you were gonna go with a lying route, like just lie through your teeth, be like, profits way up this month or this year. We're giving everyone just a massive bonus. Just take the bonus. Don't question it.
But it's really only for temps. So all of you have to compensate all of the temps who have not been underpaid and all of your own employees.
I see.
That's like 150 something thousand people.
That's a temp only program.
I'm saying like you gotta just, I don't know, like I feel like the cost of admitting it not that high unless what I guess they could be scared of is it causes other employees who are paid their full compensation to start worrying, does Google short my pay?
Yeah, I mean,
if they short the pay of some temp worker in some random country, that do they short the worker? Or do they short the pay of all employees?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that's. I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't see what the consequences would be. I feel like it would be good press, like good PR, if they were just like, "Hey, we fucked up."
I wouldn't say it's great PR. Like I said,
yeah, I mean, I don't think it's great, but I think it's far better than this. Is what I would say.
It's far better than this. Yeah. Like, you could kind of be like, "Well, they're trying to give it back," but it just makes them seem shadier.
They're like if you just tell the truth, like, it's this is embarrassing. We've made a mistake.
Yeah.
But we are making it right.
Yeah.
This is like, we've made a mistake, we're going to try to find a way to fix it, but...
Yeah.
Like, no. So. I mean... seems like every time you're looking for a company that really cares and wants to do the right thing and all this other stuff, and time
Well,
and
that's
again.
that's part of the problem. Google wants to be the company that looks like. I mean, there is a ton of problems with Google already, but like
There's a ton of
Google. If Google wants to protect its public image, it doesn't want things like this to come out, and then it's like so
correct.
it's the catch-22 of a company. You want companies to be good, and you don't want them to do bad things, but you need them to be aware of like if you do bad things, I would much rather you like. I mean, it's like teaching a kid, like right, like when you mess up, you need to like tell me, like, and we'll fix it, and like maybe you still get in trouble. But at the end of the day, it's a lot better than if you didn't tell me and I find out later, then I'm going to ground you for like 6 times as long or whatever.
Yeah.
And also smack the shit out of you because now I'm really irritated. Like,
Mhm.
so, like, like, it's kind of weird, but I don't know what else. It seems to me like it would have been better if they just told the truth. But, his email references unrest and, he doesn't want everyone to know, I guess. So,
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the thing that I always come back to with this kind of stuff, and we've talked about it with restaurants, and we don't talk about it as much with big tech just because we don't, for whatever reason. But if you can't afford to pay these people what you should be paying them, you don't have a sustainable business model. So obviously, the business model of somebody like Google is infinitely, we'll just use the word better, to be vague, than something like McDonald's, because a lot more people at Google are making living wages than a place like McDonald's. But it just goes to show that the businesses even this large are not without serious problems. So then from an ESG perspective, you have to take the good with the bad. And it's not that you're saying if I invest in this thing, I'm condoning bad behavior, because you're not. But it's a damned if you do and a damned if you don't type of scenario. And I think that's what makes it so difficult for people to figure out, like, do I trust this company at all? Let alone, do I believe in what they're doing? The truth is complicated, and oftentimes the truth brings out things that people don't want to know or that are ugly or whatever. But, yeah. What a week for big tech, huh? What a week. So then, I have to ask the obvious question. In light of all the controversies we've covered this week, does anybody's stock take a hit? I'm going to go out on a limb and say the answer is probably no.
No, I don't think so. I mean, well, Facebook's thing we talked about is technically a product. It might go up, right?
Yeah.
Google's probably not. Like, it's bad. I don't even know. Like, have a lot of people been talking about it? Like, it's bad press, but
I think it's more of an international issue than a domestic one, because a lot of their
especially because they were the temp workers. Yeah, and so the United States press is like, oh, okay, yeah, we underpaid some.
I mean, that's like
someone else. That's normal.
Yeah, I don't mean to make light of it, but that's as American as apple pie. Like, underpaying minorities. That's what America was built on, right?
Yeah.
So it's terrible, and we need to get away from that. But the American press is not going to be surprised by any of that. So, okay. So a resounding no. We all know that Apple stock probably isn't going to drop this week because the iPhone 13 release is also upcoming.
Yeah, that's not gonna.
So, everybody gets off with a small slap on the wrist, and we all just pretend that nothing has happened until something else comes up. Probably.
Basically. Yeah, until Apple and Epic figure out their thing and someone decides to move strongly in the favor of one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
That'll just keep being a pissing match, too. So.
Yep. Jeez. Okay. Well, the other big news of the week, obviously, we have to talk about the fact that Bitcoin is now legal tender in El Salvador.
Who?
Um, I appreciate what they're going for because you're trying to be on the cutting edge of something. But I saw a statistic, I want to say like 30% of people in El Salvador have a bank account.
30%.
30%?
So on the one hand, decentralized currency is great because a lot of people don't have bank accounts.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, it's also a large problem because if people don't have bank accounts, they probably don't have any money. So, I mean,
Yeah, how are they going to acquire Bitcoin? Because like
I
acquiring
yeah,
Bitcoin is not just like you can. It's not like you could just get it. You can't cash back Bitcoin, or like it's not like I have $20 in Bitcoin on me already. Like if
no.
I'm poor, like you will have $20 worth of cash potentially, and you could figure out how to grow that. But like I don't have. And then so like even if I have cash, if I don't have a computer or like a connection,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah.
wherever I'm storing the Bitcoin on, I need to keep that powered and
Yep.
charged or whatever, so I have access to it. And then the vendor also needs to have the facilities to accept my Bitcoin payment. So it does seem like a little. I mean, yeah, I get you need a currency. Decentralized is a good idea. Just seems like access to it is not going to be super easy if your population already doesn't have like a lot of currency.
Well, so honestly, what I think this is, I think you're going to see other Central American and South American countries kind of follow this lead. Because with China cracking down on what you can and cannot do in the country as far as mining and all this other stuff, a lot of people need a place to go.
True.
And so my armchair quarterback opinion on this is going to be that they're trying to pull in, that segment of the decentralized economy, for lack of a better word.
So they want to become the place
And
where
and
everyone
this is a step that they feel like they have to take.
Yeah. Maybe they're like leading the charge into it.
Yeah, because I mean the other thing that you have to keep in mind, like countries like that where things have traditionally been indexed to the U.S. dollar, or if there is a localized currency, like inflation, purchasing power, deflation, all of that stuff has been a massive problem. I mean, you look at Venezuela. Venezuela sits on like some of the largest oil reserves on planet Earth, but it's very, very difficult for people to buy anything over there because inflation is obscenely high. So I think that there's a reasonable expectation to be optimistic that this could help with some of the problems that have plagued a lot of those developing countries. But I feel like the cart has gone before the horse a little bit, and it's fine to buy into the hype as long as you're willing to be patient and give them like 3 to 5 years to figure it out. Because right now, they definitely don't have it figured out.
Yeah, I think it's whoever's going to be an early adopter and try to use it is probably going to struggle very hard. They're going to have to pave some type of path for everyone else.
Well, I mean, look at it already. Like, this is a very steep hill to climb for any early adopter. Bitcoin has been around since, what was it, like 2007?
So, I'm not sure.
Something like that. Basically, it's been around for quite a while already. And, like, yes, in the last handful of years, it's definitely exploded in prominence and popularity and all of these things. But that's still, a decade plus that it took it to get this far. Granted, I think a lot of the legwork has been done to where the adoption curve definitely accelerates. But yeah, I mean, we're by no means close to. We're not close to the point where news like this is really going to cause any massive movement in the price of any type of token, I guess is my point. I mean, am I wrong? Do you guys think differently?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess.
Yeah, I agree. Until a system is in place where you're confident that a country adopting it that means like a large number of people are immediately going to start using it for many purchases, if not most of their purchases. Like it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna. Because like Venezuela's gonna use it. Like, what is your reaction? Like, does Bitcoin gain value? Like just off the idea that El Salvador is using it all of a sudden right now. It's like, okay, cool. Like I mean, like I don't. like I said, there's a lot of like Jordan pointed out, there's a lot of questions to how utilized it'll be right away.
Yeah.
So like, it's not being used, then like it's cool that it can be used there, and maybe that is worth a slight bump. But until it's actually being used, it's not adding value to the currency.
Yeah.
Right? Currency is only as valuable as what you can buy with it, and if no one's buying anything with it, then like it's not going to change the value.
Yeah.
Well, so like that's a concern I've had for a long time. If the tokens are too valuable, no one is going to spend them.
Yeah.
Right? We've all seen the stories of the guy who bought, pizza with Bitcoin because he thought it was funny. Like, now that's worth like $3.5 million or whatever it was. Like,
he's probably suicidal.
If that's the scenario, no one is going to do it. Like, that's as perverse an incentive as you're going to get.
Yeah, it becomes just a collectible instead of a actual currency.
Yeah.
Interesting for sure, but yeah, I guess I
think it
would
could be
play the long game. I wouldn't get too excited just yet.
I think it could be worth a lot and still be used, because I mean you can break a Bitcoin down to fractions of decimals.
Yeah, isn't there like 100 pieces or 1,000 pieces or something like that?
Yeah, there are ways to break it down into smaller and smaller pieces. I think the problem is it's the volatility, right? Like it doesn't matter if one Bitcoin is worth $1 million if I can spend like a tiny percentage of it. Like that's fine. What is the problem is if my Bitcoin is worth $10 today and $1 million in a month, then I feel bad if I spend it. Like that cannot happen.
Yeah, it has to stabilize for sure.
Yeah. Like the value of the American dollar fluctuates, like all currencies. They don't fluctuate triple digits in like days or weeks. World would be chaos if the American dollar went either way by 50%. That would be, that would have large scale effects on the world.
Yeah, we'd be finding a different standard.
Yeah.
Completely.
If it went up, we would be like, we're the shit again. We're number one. If it went down, we'd be like, we're like not worth anything. Can't be doing that.
No, we cannot. Though we can do other things with the U.S. dollar, and in the case of Wells Fargo, they've been ordered to give it away. Brings us to our last no shit Sherlock story of the evening. A bank that doesn't want to give away its money.
Ooh.
Stop me if you've heard that one before. You may recall, a couple years ago, that Wells Fargo got in trouble back in 2018 when auto and home lending operations included insufficient risk management practices and improper fines being imposed on customers. So, they have now, as a result of that, agreed to a $1 billion settlement. The problem is that they are not dispersing the money from the settlement quickly enough. So now they have to pay an additional $250 million because they failed to comply with the terms of the settlement in, quote, a timely manner. So, in 2016, you have the occurrence or admission that customers have had to pay unnecessary fees and open millions of fake accounts. In 2018, you've got this whole thing and the Fed capping their assets and all of these things until they could get in compliance. And now even after they're supposed to have been in compliance, they're not in compliance quickly enough. Now, this is the part of this story that drives me crazy. Senior analyst at Edward Jones. His name is Kyle Sanders. This is not Kyle's fault. He's just saying what everybody's thinking. Overall, I think this is a modest positive for the stock. Why is that, you might ask? For many investors, today's announcement was less punitive than feared. So the company knows that they have messed up. They know that more punishment is coming on top of the punishment that they've already gotten for being incompetent at running the business. And yet, the share price goes up because it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
this kind of leads me to believe we were talking about this earlier. I feel like Google definitely should have just admitted that they messed up. like, like you could spin it, like you said, you could spin it as a positive. We are so good. We admit we are willing to pay out this money that we could have just, brushed away because no one knew that we had not paid it out. Like that could have been positive, and their stock could have gone up too. Like, or it could have been like, oh, like Google had $1 million or multi-million-dollar accounting error in payroll, but they told the truth. So like the fine is probably not going to be nearly as bad as it would be if some whistleblower found out that you had been withholding someone's wages or whatever. Like, but yeah, it leads you to show you that the punishment, the system, the way it works, these are probably like max level fines. These are or like record settings, like settlements, and the group of investors is like, oh, like we can afford that. That's not great.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't think I was done, did you? Because here's the last piece of this that. What is going on with America's banking system? Okay, so part of the settlement from the 2016 issues with the millions of fake accounts was a consent order that ordered them to reform the sales practices related to the opening of new accounts, the funding of loans, etc. That consent order has expired. So, they asked the CEO of Wells Fargo about this, and this is what he said. We have done substantial work designed to ensure that the conduct at the core of the consent order, which was reprehensible and wholly inconsistent with the values on which this company was built, will not recur. Okay, so that conduct won't recur. But we've played this game before. When one thing is not allowed, they will find something else that is. Because this is a for-profit company. And if you're already having trouble dispersing funds from a class action settlement, how am I supposed to believe that you're not trying to find a way to make more money already with other shady practices because you have to pay out all of this money? Like, if you're looking for a financial stock to invest in, do not touch Wells Fargo with a 10-foot pole, is the moral of this story.
I think the moral of the story is don't bank with them either. Like, I don't know if anyone watching this banks with Wells Fargo. I feel like that's not. Maybe open a new account somewhere else.
Yes, if you bank with Wells Fargo, do yourself a favor and bank somewhere else. That is the other moral of this story. Like, damn, guys. What is going on?
I mean, on one hand, I don't know what they could really say to convince you that, like, they're going to be better. But
No, but we just covered, like, 5 different things of companies worth more money than, like, countries on this planet doing things that are patently illegal.
Yes.
And getting away with all of it. Or most of it. Or some of it.
Yes. Or, well, even if they're not, quote-unquote, getting away with it, it doesn't seem like the punishment really affects their...
Yeah, like, damn, what are we doing here? Should we just buy an island and live off of coconuts and purified seawater for the rest of our lives?
There are legal limits on what you can take from a company, and those companies pay a lot of money for people to make sure the laws don't change the limits that are in place. See, I mean, like, amounts sounded good when they were established because no one thought that we would have billionaire.
Yes, when you take it as a percentage of the whole, it's a very different story, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If someone had been like a 2% fine or 5% fine of your company value, like valuation, that would be like massive, right? Like, could you imagine? Like, like a bank would be terrified of a fine like that. But 5 million? Oh, okay, that's like 0.05%.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I didn't even know we had that. I didn't even know we were missing that.
Yeah, so. Yeah.
That's a rounding error.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you wondering, this is why I drink. But any closing thoughts from anybody before we shut it down and hope that next week is a little bit better?
I want to know why Microsoft has nothing bad going on with them, but their stock price is going down this month.
Oh, Microsoft has plenty of its own issues. We just don't have enough time to talk about all of them in 1 week.
Nice.
I will say, like, at face value, it seems like they are more well run and care about more of this than others. But labor relations issues at Microsoft have also been very, very well documented since the early days of Microsoft. And some of that they've never managed to shake. So you can find dirt on them as well. They are not immune. Yep, it's a doozy. Anybody making any moves in the next week? What do we think? Cashing out, taking money, running?
Ooh. Well, you said you were thinking about cashing out on Tesla, right? I think I'll keep Tesla for a bit. I don't think I'm going to cash out on that.
Yeah, I mean, I would be okay with taking an 8.75% hit. That doesn't mean I'm going to.
Ah, okay. I thought you were.
No, I would much rather see it go green because I feel like I've ridden the roller coaster for this long. I may as well see what happens. But
you gotta
if
ask yourself, what
I
are
had
the odds?
to sell tomorrow, I would feel a lot better than I did a month ago.
You just gotta ask yourself, what are the odds it goes back down?
Yes. Also fair. That is the important question.
But now, no big plant moves for me, I think.
Well, alrighty then. Here's hoping for some better market conditions in the next week. But until we talk next, best of luck, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, definitely. See you guys.
Bye.